Al Pacino, the Hollywood legend who brought us unforgettable performances like Michael Corleone in The Godfather, Tony Montana in Scarface, and Frank Slade in Scent of a Woman, is now 84 years old. But behind the great successes and global fame, Pacino's life has not been easy. Despite continuing his work and contributions to cinema, the challenges and pains in his personal life make one reflect. From losses and setbacks to unfulfilled relationships, Pacino has faced many struggles throughout his long journey. Let's explore Pacino's current life, the unexpected changes in his personal life, and what makes the life of a legend like him have hidden sides that few know about. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on fascinating stories about big stars and their real lives. Al Pacino was born on April 25, 1940, in East Harlem, New York City. His parents, Rosa Gherardi and Salvatore Pacino, were Sicilian immigrants trying to build a life in America. Their marriage didn't last long, and when Pacino was just 2 years old, his father moved to California to work as an insurance salesman. This left Pacino's mother to raise him alone in South Bronx with the help of his grandparents, Kate and James Gherardi, who were from Corleone, Sicily, a town that would later gain fame from the movie The Godfather. Life in the Bronx during the 1940s and 1950s was tough. His family struggled financially, and the absence of his father created a void that would never fully heal. But Pacino's mother gave him something that would shape his future: her love for cinema. She often took him to the movies, where he became immersed in the stories on the screen. His passion for acting began to grow, even though he didn't fully understand it at the time. Those early trips to the movie theater planted the seed for a lifelong obsession. As he grew up, Pacino was called Sonny by his friends. He had a wild personality and always pushed boundaries. At just 9 years old, he started smoking and drinking. By 13, he had tried marijuana. He showed little interest in academics and often got into trouble. Fighting, skipping school, and breaking rules became routine for him. He was kicked out of several schools before enrolling in the High School of Performing Arts. It seemed like a good fit for him, but he didn't stay long. At 17, after an argument with his mother about his future, he dropped out of school without a diploma and without a stable job. He spent his teenage years wandering. He hung out with a group of friends who also lacked clear direction. Some of them got into trouble, while others fell into drug addiction. 3 of his closest friends, Cliffy, Bruce, and Pye, would later die from overdoses. Pacino could have ended up the same way, but something kept him going. Acting became an outlet, a way to channel his restless energy into something bigger than himself. He once said that without acting, he probably wouldn't have made it through. If you love deep stories and want to learn more about the big stars of Hollywood, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on exciting videos and the latest information. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Al Pacino's current life? Let's discuss. The great losses changed Al Pacino forever. In 1962, when Pacino was just 22, his mother passed away at the age of 43 after a long battle with depression. Her death had a profound impact on him. Just a year later, his grandfather, James, who had been like a father to him, also passed away. Within a year, the 2 most important people in his life were gone. Pacino referred to that time as the lowest point in his life, when he felt lost and had nothing to hold on to. Later, in his memoir Sonny Boy, named after the nickname his mother gave him, Pacino wrote about the pain. If I'm lucky, maybe I'll be reunited with my mother there. All I wanted was the chance to walk up to her and just say, "Hey Ma, look what happened to me." After the deaths of his mother and grandfather, Pacino threw himself into acting, although the path was far from easy. He accepted any job he could to make ends meet, from cleaning, waiting tables, delivering mail, to working as a postal employee, just to afford acting classes. He studied at HB Studio in Greenwich Village, where he met Charlie Lawton, an acting teacher who became his closest mentor. However, financial struggles were always a major obstacle. There were nights when he had nowhere to go, sleeping on friends' couches, or even in the theater when he had no place to stay. In the early 1960s, Pacino was so poor that he had to sleep on the streets and take any small acting roles in underground theater productions. However, Al Pacino's career took a major turn in 1968 when he starred in the play The Indian Wants the Bronx, an off-Broadway production by Israel Horovitz. The play premiered on January 17th at the Astor Place Theater in New York and ran for 177 performances. His performance as Murph brought a raw energy that felt dangerous yet oddly human. He didn't just portray a violent troublemaker, he also revealed the layers beneath that aggression. Critics took notice, and so did the industry. Pacino won the OBIE Award for Best Actor, co-star John Cazale won Best Supporting Actor, and Horovitz received the award for Best New Play. Another important behind-the-scenes event occurred. The Indian Wants the Bronx was staged alongside The Sugar Plum, which starred Jill Clayburgh, who was then Pacino's girlfriend. Through this production, Pacino met Martin Bregman, who would go on to change his life. Bregman recognized something special in him and became Pacino's manager. Later, Bregman helped Pacino land iconic roles in films such as The Godfather, Serpico, and Dog Day Afternoon. Pacino later admitted that without Bregman, his career may not have developed the way it did. Just a year later, Pacino made his Broadway debut in the play Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie? Written by Don Peterson. The play premiered at the Bolesco Theater in 1969, telling the story of teenage drug addicts in a rehabilitation center, exploring themes of addiction and redemption. Pacino played Bickham, a young addict with a tough exterior but deep emotional wounds. Although the production only ran for 39 performances after 9 preview shows, it made a strong impression. Jack Kroll of Newsweek described him as a gangster with a poet's soul, while Variety called him the most promising Broadway actor. At 29, Pacino won a Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play. This moment changed everything in his career. Pacino's ability to bring depth to his performances was honed during his years of training. He studied under the guidance of Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio in New York City, one of the most prestigious acting schools in the world. Strasberg, a master of the method acting technique, taught actors to tap into their personal emotions to create authentic performances. Pacino later admitted that studying with Strasberg gave him the confidence to pursue acting full-time, laying a strong foundation for his film career. Al Pacino's journey to becoming Michael Corleone in The Godfather was not just a challenge, but a fierce battle. Although his performance later became legendary, in 1972, casting him in the role nearly jeopardized the entire production. Paramount Pictures wanted a big-name star like Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Robert Redford, or Ryan O'Neal. At that time, Pacino was virtually unknown, with only a few film credits and a strong background in theater, but that wasn't enough for the studio. They didn't see him as a leading star and wanted someone bigger and more fitting for the image of a Hollywood star. However, Francis Ford Coppola had a different perspective. He had seen Pacino perform on Broadway and believed he was perfect for the role of Michael Corleone. Coppola saw a unique ability in Pacino to portray Michael's transformation from an innocent war hero to a ruthless mafia boss. This led to intense arguments between Coppola and the studio. At one point, Paramount even experimented with casting James Caan as Michael and insisted that Pacino could only stay if Caan played Sonny Corleone. Despite filming already beginning, the studio remained unconvinced and demanded that Pacino leave the project. Coppola refused to back down. He decided to shoot the pivotal restaurant assassination scene early, a crucial moment marking Michael's first steps into the mafia world. This was a key scene, where Michael truly dives into the criminal life for the first time, and it also played a major role in shaping his character. When the executives at Paramount saw this scene, they recognized Pacino's exceptional talent. From that moment on, his role in the film was secured, and a new star was born. Pacino's performance in The Godfather earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. However, he boycotted the ceremony, refusing to attend because he felt overlooked. Though he didn't win, his career skyrocketed, and The Godfather went on to gross over $250 million, compared to its $6 million budget, winning the Oscar for Best Picture. Pacino's portrayal of Michael Corleone was praised for its intense quietness, with his ability to convey so much emotion through a single glance. The cold stare in the restaurant scene, where Michael decides to assassinate a rival, became one of the most iconic moments in cinema. However, the filming process was not easy. Pacino admitted that he felt scared throughout the shooting, with immense pressure and always the threat of being fired. In particular, he suffered a serious ankle injury during one scene, but strangely, he felt relieved, thinking the injury might allow him to leave the project instead of facing the overwhelming pressure. The pain was so intense that he needed injections to continue filming, but with the mounting stress, being injured almost felt like a release from the burden of the work. Nevertheless, Coppola noticed that Pacino was struggling and decided to adjust the shooting schedule to give him more time to perfect his performance. Coppola also asked Diane Keaton, Pacino's co-star, to be his emotional support on set. She became his companion, always helping him through the difficult times, and together they created a lighter atmosphere during the intense moments. Pacino later said that without the trust and support from Coppola and Keaton, he might not have been able to overcome these challenges. Following the success of The Godfather, in 1973, Pacino continued to impress with his role as Frank Serpico in the film of the same name, based on the true story of an NYPD officer who exposed corruption within the police force. To prepare for the role, Pacino spent time with the real Serpico, learning how he spoke and moved, as well as understanding the loneliness the character faced when standing up against his colleagues. The filming process faced challenges from the start when director John G. Avildsen was replaced by Sidney Lumet just before shooting. The real-life New York streets and the summer heat created a tense atmosphere, especially when Lumet applied his fast-paced directing style, demanding that actors work at a very high speed. In this environment, Pacino continued to prove his talent, delivering a deeply layered and authentic performance, further cementing his status as one of Hollywood's greatest talents. Pacino's performance earned him an Academy Award nomination and a Golden Globe win. With a budget of only a few $1 million, the film grossed nearly $30 million at the box office. Over time, Serpico became a defining film in the crime genre, and Pacino's portrayal remains one of the strongest performances of his career. A decade later, Pacino took on one of his most iconic roles in Scarface, 1983. He portrayed Tony Montana, a Cuban immigrant rising to power in the Miami drug trade. Directed by Brian De Palma and written by Oliver Stone, the film was inspired by the classic 1932 film, but updated for the 1980s with excess and violence. Tony Montana is ruthless, ambitious, and unforgiving from the moment he steps onto American soil. Determined to seize everything he desires, Pacino poured his heart into the role, meticulously crafting every detail of Tony's character, from his tone and gestures to the way he held a gun, all planned with precision. During filming, he suffered a severe burn on his hand from holding a hot gun barrel, a wound that delayed production but also demonstrated his dedication to making the character as authentic as possible. The film faced backlash upon its release, with critics condemning its extreme violence and the use of profanity. The Cuban community in Miami also protested the way the film portrayed immigrants, leading to some scenes being shot in Los Angeles instead of Miami. However, the controversy did not stop Scarface from gaining a large audience. The film grossed $66 million worldwide and became a cult classic. The line, "Say hello to my little friend," became legendary, and the film's influence spread into hip-hop culture, video games, and popular culture. Over time, Scarface has been recognized as one of the greatest gangster films ever made. In 1992, Pacino took on a completely different role in Scent of a Woman, a performance that earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. He portrayed Lieutenant Colonel Frank Slade, a blind and bitter war veteran, who spends a weekend with a high school student named Charlie Sim, played by Chris O'Donnell. The film follows their journey as Slade teaches Charlie about life while battling his own inner demons. To prepare for the role, Pacino wore opaque contact lenses to obscure his vision and used a cane even when the camera wasn't rolling, in order to make his blindness feel more natural. His performance combined humor and intensity, making the character of Slade one of the most memorable in his career. One of the most famous moments of the film is the tango scene, where Slade, despite being blind, leads a young woman in a perfect dance. When Scarface was released in 1983, it caused a stir. Critics condemned it for its extreme violence, constant profanity, and what they saw as a glorification of drug culture. The chainsaw scene, just 20 minutes into the film, left audiences stunned. Some people, like writers Kurt Vonnegut and John Irving, even walked out of the screening. But the controversy didn't stop there. Many Cuban immigrants in Miami protested, claiming the film portrayed them as criminals and drug dealers. They believed the movie reinforced harmful stereotypes, turning their community into a symbol of the drug trade in Miami. Even people in Hollywood foresaw the backlash. Martin Scorsese is said to have warned Stephen Bauer, who played Tony Montana's best friend, that Hollywood would hate the film because it exposed their corruption. However, the movie was a major success, grossing over $134 million worldwide against a budget of $31 million. Pacino's performance was praised, and his character's iconic line, "Say hello to my little friend," became legendary. His eventual Oscar win was long considered deserved, rewarding an actor who had delivered some of the finest performances in cinematic history. Over time, the film found a second life, becoming a classic, especially within the hip-hop and Latino communities, where Tony Montana became an icon of ambition and defiance. This rise in popularity only fueled further debates. Does Scarface serve as a warning against excess, or has it become a symbol of the very thing it condemns? To this day, the discussion continues, proving that some films never lose their impact. A few years later, in 2018, Pacino took on another controversial role in HBO's Paterno, about the child abuse scandal at Penn State. The film focuses on a pivotal 2-week period in 2011, when Joe Paterno, the football legend with over 400 career wins, saw his reputation destroyed. His former assistant, Jerry Sandusky, was arrested for child sexual abuse. Sandusky was later sentenced to 30 to 60 years in prison. The film poses an unsettling question. How much did Paterno know? Pacino's performance portrayed a man torn between his football empire and the growing scandal. In one scene, Paterno recalls a report from an assistant coach in 2001 who had seen Sandusky raping a boy in the team's locker room. Paterno had informed university officials but failed to follow up on the decision, which ultimately tarnished everything he had built. Critics praised Pacino for capturing Paterno's inner conflict, but the film left audiences divided. Some believed Paterno was a scapegoat, while others thought he turned a blind eye. Over 300 of his former players protested the film, arguing that it unfairly destroyed his legacy. Just months after being fired from Penn State, Paterno passed away from lung cancer at the age of 85. The film doesn't take a side but forces viewers to decide whether Paterno is guilty of negligence or simply caught up in a system that failed everyone. Pacino took on another controversial role in HBO's Phil Spector, 2013. The film explores the life of the legendary music producer who revolutionized sound in the 1960s, as well as his eccentric personal issues. In 2003, Spector was accused of killing actress Lana Clarkson at his mansion. The film focuses on his relationship with defense attorney Linda Kenny Bowden, played by Helen Mirren, who questions whether he can receive a fair trial. Unlike a typical courtroom drama, Phil Spector doesn't center on the legal battle, but instead portrays a man losing control of his own story. Is he a misunderstood genius, or is he truly what the world thought of him? The film doesn't provide a clear answer, leaving viewers with the same sense of conflict that surrounded the case when it first made headlines. Off-screen, Pacino also faced a real-life tragedy in 2011 when he discovered he had lost $50 million. His longtime accountant, Kenneth Starr, had been running a Ponzi scheme. Pacino, who had spent decades earning millions per film, was nearly ruined overnight. Starr had built a reputation as a trusted financial advisor, managing money for some of Hollywood's biggest stars. However, behind their backs, he was stealing from them. When the Ponzi scheme collapsed, Starr was arrested and sentenced to 7 years in prison. Pacino returned from an expensive vacation in Europe, only to find that the entire sum of money was gone. In his memoir, Sonny Boy, he describes the moment he realized the gravity of the betrayal. I had $50 million, and then I had nothing. To recover, Pacino took on unexpected projects. He joined the cast of Film Name, a movie he later admitted he did solely for the paycheck. He also participated in speaking engagements and even appeared in commercials. He referred to that time as a crazy series of events, but in the end, it taught him about the power of resilience. Even at the height of Hollywood, no one is untouchable. Pacino was never just an actor. He was always a storyteller, someone seeking meaning in the roles he took on and the projects he participated in. His passion for acting was not just about performing, but about understanding the craft, analyzing it, and sharing it with others. This drive led him to take on the role of a director. His first major project as a director was Looking for Richard in 1996. It wasn't a traditional film, but rather a documentary, a performance, and a personal journey all in one. Pacino wanted to demonstrate why Shakespeare still mattered. He chose Richard III, a play about power and ambition, and began proving that its themes remained relevant. Four years later, in 2000, he directed Chinese Coffee, a completely different project. It wasn't a film about history or literature, but about two men sitting in a room and talking. The film was adapted from Ira Lewis's play, which Pacino had performed on stage in 1992. The story takes place in 1982 in Greenwich Village, on a single night when two friends have a long and intense conversation. In addition to directing, Pacino has spent many years shaping the next generation of actors. Since 2000, he has served as co-president of the Actors Studio alongside Ellen Burstyn and Harvey Keitel. This is not just any acting school. It's where some of the greatest actors in history have been trained. Pacino himself studied there under the guidance of legends like Lee Strasberg and Charlie Lawton. He has always said that the school changed his life, and now he helps it do the same for others. For Pacino, the Actors Studio is a place where actors can take risks. It's not about fame or success, but about challenging oneself. It's about learning without fear. Many of Hollywood's greatest talents, including James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, Paul Newman, and Jack Nicholson, came from this school. Pacino continues to mentor young actors through workshops and discussions. He doesn't just teach technique, but encourages them to read, think, and explore philosophy and literature. He believes that acting is not just about performing, but about understanding life. Al Pacino has spent his entire life under the spotlight, but when it comes to marriage, he has never taken that step. Despite his well-known relationships with Diane Keaton, Beverly D'Angelo, and Kathleen Quinlan, he has maintained a lifelong commitment to remaining single. In his 2024 memoir, Sonny Boy, he explains why he has never seen marriage as something that would benefit his life. He even referred to it as the gateway to a train of sorrow. His views on commitment were shaped by personal fears, and no relationship has changed that. His time with Diane Keaton was one of Hollywood's most famous love stories. They met while filming The Godfather in 1972. She found him both charming and mysterious. Their relationship lasted for many years, on and off, but by 1990, Keaton had grown frustrated. While filming The Godfather Part 3, she gave him an ultimatum: commitment or breakup. Pacino refused, and she left. Another serious relationship came earlier with Kathleen Quinlan. They met in 1979 at a party hosted by acting coach Lee Strasberg. The two were inseparable, even traveling around Europe together. Pacino later admitted that Quinlan was the one he almost married, but he ultimately backed out. It was a decision that haunted him for many years. Although he never married, fatherhood became an important part of his life. In June 2023, at the age of 83, he welcomed his fourth child, a son named Roman, with Noah Alala, a 29-year-old woman. The news shocked many, especially after reports that Pacino had requested a paternity test because he didn't believe he could still have children. When the results confirmed Roman as his son, he accepted the role of father once again. Pacino and Alala began dating in 2020 during the pandemic, but their relationship wasn't made public until April 2022. Their 54-year age gap attracted attention, though Alala is known for dating older men, having previously been linked to Mick Jagger and Clint Eastwood. Roman is her first child, but Pacino already has 3 children, twins Anton James and Olivia Rose, born in 2001 with Beverly D'Angelo, and his eldest daughter Julie Marie, born in 1989 with acting coach Jan Tarrant. Becoming a father again at 83 changed his life, as his own father had abandoned him when he was young, and he didn't want to repeat that cycle. Even after breaking up with Alala, he maintained his connection with Roman through video calls, and the two even played harmonica together. At 84, Pacino continues to work. In 2021, he appeared in House of Gucci, and his upcoming projects prove that he has no plans of stopping. One of the most anticipated films is Modi, a movie about Italian artist Amedeo Modigliani, directed by Johnny Depp. The film follows 3 intense days in Modigliani's life as he struggles with art and personal obsessions. Pacino will also star in The Ritual, a horror film based on the true story of Emma Schmidt's exorcisms. The film, set to be released on April 18, 2025, follows 2 priests performing dangerous exorcisms while confronting their own pasts. Additionally, he is involved in projects like Billy Knight and Killing Castro, proving that his passion for storytelling remains as strong as ever. For Pacino, acting is not just a profession. It's what has helped him get through some of the toughest moments in his life. He often says that acting saved his life. His life has been filled with hardships. In 2020, a near-death experience forever changed his perspective on life. In the midst of an illness, he lost his heartbeat and had to be revived by emergency responders. Afterward, he became convinced that there is no life after death, a belief he openly shares. At this stage in his life, Pacino continues to stay active, remains a father, and reflects on everything he has gone through. He never followed a traditional path, but that has never stopped him from living a full life. Whether on screen or off, he remains one of the most fascinating figures in film history. Al Pacino's journey from Hollywood legend to the realities of old age is both inspiring and poignant. While his cinematic legacy will forever shine, the challenges he faces today show that even the greatest stars are not exempt from life's difficulties. His story serves as a reminder that fame and success come with their own set of struggles. If you found Al Pacino's story touching, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with others who might need a reminder of the human side of fame. What do you think about Pacino's life at 84? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Be sure to follow for more updates on your favorite stars and their journeys.